I want to do a review of Cece's newest book called Scribblers at Home. Now, I don't think Cece did an excellent job marketing this book, which is a tragedy because it's excellent. Because I'm a director, I tend to like to get Cece's new stuff so that I can speak from a place of actually knowing what it is, so that I can recommend it or not. I am very honest. There is one specific book that I don't love that Cece has, and I'm not even going to tell you what that is because I want everybody to make their own choice. But if I know you personally and you ask, then I can tell you. So this book, though, I got it because I was like, what is it? I could not tell what it was. I didn't feel like Cece did such a great job of sharing what it is. And because they're using this word scribblers, Cece has had a scribblers thing for years, and it's been geared towards like kids who are too young for foundations. So when this came out, everybody who was familiar with this word assumed that it was for those littlest kids. So I think it would have been better if Cece had chosen just like a completely different name for this book, because it would have been a little less confusing and more clear that actually this book is an excellent resource for all ages of CCers. I mean it, all ages. I'm going to show you. I'm actually really blown away by this book. I think it's excellent. And I do highly recommend it. So spoiler alert, you should just go ahead and get it. If you don't want to watch my whole video, don't. Just go get the book. But I'm going to show you what it's like. So it's called Recipes from Lifelong Learners. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, is it a cookbook? What? Like, I did not understand. So we've got table of contents. As usual with Cece's curriculums, they start with some really excellent pages that you should read. In all of the Cece stuff, read these first pages because they will tell you, Cece is telling you what their vision is for this resource, how to use it, what the purpose is. So these pages really are excellent and you should read them. All right, so moving past, it talks about the trivium. I love this because it tells the 5 core habits of grammar, the 5 common topics of dialectic, and the 5 canons of rhetoric. And now if you're into the challenge years and have gone through CC, these are familiar to you. If you're only in foundation, some of these aren't familiar to you yet. You probably are only barely familiar with the 5 core habits of grammar because that's what our kiddos are using in the foundations program. So this whole book is going to highlight all 15 of these tools, which is really, really cool. Okay, how to use this book. This is a great section that really talks about how you can use this book. So there are pages, it's showing you how you can sort of make a plan for using this book. I will be honest, I don't know yet how I will actually use the book in my own homeschool. I haven't figured that out yet. I had already done a review on Instagram. People really enjoyed seeing it because they felt like there's a lot of people out there still wondering, like, what is this book? So I'm making this video now. I will update at some point if I find a really amazing, notable way of using the book, but I'll share why I still think this is a great option to buy. It's still a great resource, even if you don't have like a firm plan for using it. But Cece does offer a suggestion for how you can use it by basically choosing an activity each day, which I haven't even shown you yet, so you don't even know what that's about. But it's showing you how all the things are broken down. Okay, so then we get into Grammar of Poetry. This is the first of many sections, and if you turn the book sideways, you can see all these different colors. So each of those colors is a different section. So this first section is the Grammar of Poetry, and there's just a bunch of poems. A bunch of poems that you can read with your kids, maybe have work on memorizing them. So that whole first section is just poems. All right, the second section, Grammar of Phonics. So this is our blue section. And this is the first, let's see, hang on. Okay, Grammar of Phonics. This is talking about the why. And at the beginning of each section, actually, there's this great spread that talks about why, what, how, becoming lifelong learners, and it's got tools for every age. I really love this. At the beginning of every section, it shows what could you do for the Scribblers? So here they're using that word Scribblers again, and in this case, it does mean the kids younger than foundations. So like your 2 and 3 and 4-year-olds probably. But then here in the middle section is the Foundations Essentials kids, and this last one, it's in the Challenge kids. So this box is telling you how you could use this section, this phonics section, at each of the different ages, which is really cool because it leaves, takes out some of the guesswork of how you can actually use it. All right, so this is the first page where it's really, the poetry section was a little bit different, but the rest of the book is like this. So on this side of the page is a recipe. Now it's a recipe for an activity. So it says serving suggestion, and that means where you could do this activity. And it's got a few different choices. And it says prep time, 5 minutes. That means how long will it take to do this activity? Ingredients. So what supplies do I need to do this activity? And I know they've worked really hard to make these activities easy to accomplish. So like it says, you could take a walk, or while you're riding in the car, you could do it. It takes 5 minutes. And for the ingredients, it would be things that you can find around your house almost always. So, and the steps, here's how to do the activity. And then yield, what is the kid learning from this activity? And then they've got tips and hints down here. So the rest of the book is like that, where on this side of the page is a recipe, an activity. And on this side of the page is a chart. So this entire book is 50% charts and diagrams and things. This is actually my favorite part of the book, is all these different charts. And this is where I know I'm going to find a ton of things to use throughout my years with CC. So maybe we'll do some of these. I don't know yet. I don't really have great plans to do it. I know this book is intended for 4 through 8-year-olds. My youngest is going to be 7 in the fall. So like I'm almost out of like their recommended age range for these activities, but you know, I'll probably still look through them. But the charts are amazing. So I'll show you some charts as we're going through, but this is the phonics area. See, you can see spelling rules here. This is from the Essentials curriculum. Syllabication chart. See, I'm going to need to look at these because some of these things will still come in handy because I still have kiddos learning to read. Cursive letter chart, dictation chart, sentence mechanics. That's very interesting, like how you put sentences together. 8 parts of speech. This is in Foundations memory work and then used in Essentials, right? And it breaks it down and it gives you all the definitions. So basically all the charts you're going to see on this side of the page in the whole book are from the curriculum somewhere, including Challenge. But most all of the charts will be new, like they created them for this curriculum. So the information contained in them is not new, but they have newly put them into this charted format. And the whole book is in color, which is beautiful. Most of the CC curriculums are in black and white. So this is one that's in color and it's gorgeous. So let's just skip ahead here. Oh, look, 7 sentence patterns. That's from Essentials, but like they've added, like they always add. So this looks more familiar in chart A, but they've added some little pictures to kind of help maybe teach. And the idea, just to remind you, the idea is you've got this little activity that's going to teach you one little piece of something from the chart. So it's not that you're going to teach your 4 through 8-year-old every bit of this with this one little 5-minute activity, but it is that they're going to just get a little taste of the information that's in the chart. All right, let's go to the next section. The next section is the grammar of literature. So this is our orange section. So again, we have this how, what, why page where it talks about how you can use this section in each Scribblers, Foundations Essentials Challenge. I love that. Oh, we got read aloud tips. Oh, types of prose. Parts of drama. Now, I know they do drama in, I'm pretty sure, Challenge 1, and then probably again in another time. So, you know, my husband is going to be directing Challenge 1 this year, so he may end up looking at this chart and using the chart in class. I don't know, maybe. We got poetry terms, setting chart, character charts, a plot pyramid. Now, some of these things are going to be recognizable from the IEW curriculum, but they've added information to it. conflict chart, themes chart, annotating things. So that's literature. Oh, arrangement. I'm seeing challenge. I'm seeing LTW things. We've got invention. Oh, what was that chart? Alliteration, anaphoria, antithesis, metaphor. Okay, so these are all things I think from Challenge A from the Analogies book. And then we've got our invention, arrangement, and elocution charts. That's from LTW. 4 kinds of writing. It's excellent. Okay, so that was the literature section. And then we have the grammar of arithmetic. This is sort of like reddish. We've got a hundreds chart, measurement chart. I love this. A lot of this is part of the foundation's memory work, but we've got some pictures and some extra things that aren't in the foundation's memory work. Multiplication tables, place value. So some of this you might actually find fits right into your math curriculum, and they're just really handy charts to use. Fractions, measurement, unit circle chart, which I've never seen anything like this before, but I think it's so cool. An XY chart, you might copy this and put it in a plastic page for your algebra student to use. I think I'll probably be doing that with Barrett. Polygons chart, I thought that was really cool. Polyhedrons chart, math pronunciation, oh, that's interesting. Dot paper, I bet the activity over here uses the dot paper, probably. Board game chart, number knockouts, data arrangement. Okay, and then we're to the art of Latin, the purple section. So Latin, of course, starts in the foundations curriculum with learning some of the different conjugations and declensions and a little bit of vocabulary. So in this section, oh, look, the Greek and Roman gods. That's actually from foundations memory work, from history memory work. And then we have Roman numerals, Hindu numbers, and Latin numbers. Hindu numerals, rather, which are the ones that we use. Noun declensions, and they use this elephant thing to explain, which is really cool. Like they're taking all the memory work that we already have, and they're adding things to it to make it a little bit more understandable for younger kids, which I love. So we got an adjectives chart, personal pronouns chart, fun facts about Latin verbs chart. That's interesting, where it talks about conjugation, voice and mood, tense, and person and number. And those are familiar from essentials. So this kind of thing really helps connect essentials, learning English grammar, to learning Latin, which is awesome. Principal parts chart, conjugation verb chart, and see, we've got pictures when it makes sense to. So a challenge student might find some of these charts really helpful as they're working through Latin, Henley Latin. Roman rulers and symbols. Oh, that's cool, because you can follow. So we've been reading Cece's Roman history books. Here's one, just to remind you what we're talking about. These, the purple ones, and it's going through like the history of Rome, and so this would be really handy. Now that I'm seeing this, I might photocopy it and fold it and stick it in the one that we're reading at the time to kind of help keep track of where we are in the history and who we're talking about. I think that could be really neat. We've got like a Venn diagram for prepositions, conversational Latin. Oh, that's cool, where it teaches you some of the regular Latin words like mother, father, neck, mouth, dog, cat, monkey. That's neat. Verb voice, Latin prefixes, moods. Oh, and a Latin blessing at the end. That's so cool. Okay, grammar of science, the orange section. We still have 3 sections to go. Science and 2 more. It's really amazing. Nature walks, senses in nature, elements of shape. So this reminds me of the oil stuff, but it's teaching kids how they can use their drawing skills to draw pictures when they are observing in science, which is amazing. Topic wheels. Oh, I remember doing that in school. Classification charts, human body. This would be excellent for cycle 3. And then I know they do anatomy again. Oh, they do it in challenge A. So this could be a very handy tool to look at in challenge A. Leaf charts. I know one of the foundation's pieces of memory work is like different leaf types. So this would be a visual to show kids. Moon charts. So sometimes I know with Foundations memory work, some parents really desire to add meat. And of course, that's what you're supposed to do, right? The Foundations curriculum is sort of like a skeleton curriculum because it gives you the bones. That's what the memory work is. It's sort of like the bones. And then as the teacher, as the parent, we get to slap the meat, the information, the knowledge onto the bones. And you do that more and more as they get older, right? A 4-year-old does not need to understand the different phases of the moon so much. They can just memorize the words, but not really understand why the phases work the way they do. But maybe by the time your child is like 10, they're getting really interested. Well, why does the face of the moon change? And so that is when you might find a chart like this really handy to start explaining it to them. So this book is going to be an excellent resource for you as you want to add meat to the skeleton of the Foundations curriculum. So I think this can really aid you in that. And it's bringing in all these challenge things. So if you start doing this in the Foundations Essentials years, you're going to find that the kids have even more connections once they get into challenge. But don't forget, the whole point of Foundations is to prepare kids for challenge. So the meat to put on the skeleton of the Foundations curriculum starts coming in naturally in the Essentials program and all the way through challenge. So please just add meat as it brings joy, and don't do it out of guilt and feeling like my kid must understand every piece of memory work. Don't do that. Don't do that. Go from their interest level. If you're working on a piece of memory work and they ask you questions, well, that's your cue. That's your cue to add some meat. It's going to stick more in their minds anyway if they were interested in it to begin with. So for the Foundations years, just try your best to go off of interest rather than guilt. Periodic table, that's cycle 3 that we're getting into. Oh, a scientist timeline chart. That's cool. Scientific method chart, which looks different than anything I've ever seen before. I just love how they've sort of spiced everything up. A research chart, science fair chart. This could come in super handy for Challenge A. So Challenge A directors, you might want to get this book. All Challenge directors, but for instance, Challenge A directors might want to check this out and see about sharing this kind of thing with your class. Oh, a microscope diagram, lab report chart. So much stuff that I'm already seeing just being through challenge. I'm going to claim challenge 1 because Doug is preparing for that. Grammar of history is the green section. So much cool stuff in here. It's going to explain the timeline cards. Latitude circles chart. Oh, that's neat. It shows where the different continents are within the lines of latitude. This should look super familiar to you if you've done Challenge A. They learn all these different geography terms, and having a chart like this is really, really helpful for them to remember and be able to visualize what these terms mean. Timeline. This is our timeline. This is our Foundations timeline, and it's written here on 2 pages. We have a church history timeline. That is really cool. Here's the presidency of the United States. Forms of government. Oh, like anarchy, monarchy, tyranny, oligarchy, republic, democratic republic. That's very cool to talk through. The U.S. Constitution parts. This could come in handy during Challenge 1 when you're going through the Constitution. Highlighting systems chart. Oh, highlighting. So this is teaching like highlighting methods. Current events, how to look at current events. Economics, that's Challenge 1, I think. Public speaking, that is all throughout all of CC, which I love, 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 but I'm betting a lot of these words, persuasive, expository, impromptu, memorize, are going to come into play more in the challenge years. Mock trial chart, debate chart, protocol chart. I showed Doug this because he's going to be Challenge 1 this year. It's our highest level of challenge, and they'll be the first ones doing protocol. So this teaches like the correct place setting and like looking at a stage and how you understand a stage, because they also do a little bit of drama, and maybe they'll go see a show for protocol. And then the last section is the grammar of the Bible, which this is really cool because a lot of people say, you know, why doesn't CC teach more about the Bible during the Foundations years? And I've always heard that CC wants to leave the teaching of the Bible to parents, because CC is open to Christians of all varieties. So they're leaving it to the family to do that. But so I still think it's really cool that they added this in. So these are resources that can be used. So this is a drawing about the elements of a church. So this is what a church might look like. This is the books of the Bible, a chart for the books of the Bible. This is explaining the temple, the pillars in the temple. John 1, Latin Vulgate and English, which we do in cycle 3. 6 days of creation chart. We got a map showing like ancient time, like Bible times, which is cycle 1. We've got a Bible reading plan. That is really cool. A 24-week Bible reading plan. No, it goes even further. I think in 3 cycles, I'm betting it goes all the way through the whole Bible, but I'm not reading it, or I'm not reading that part of this book to know for sure if that's what that was. And that was the Bible section. And then you have your appendices, which has the pages that you could photocopy to kind of plan out how you're going to do your week. And just to show you a little bit more close up. Daily feast. Here's what you could do each day. Pray together, play together, explore together, read together, serve together. I really do love that. I love those ideas of ways to think about having your day together and really utilizing the wonderful benefits of homeschooling and doing life together and learning together. We're excited, and that's the end. So this book is excellent. If you can't get it now, plan to get it next year, or wait until CC has a sale, which they're rare, but they happen. And the next time they have one, just snatch it up. Just have it. If you're a CC family and you are past I'm doing it for this year, but I'm not sure about next year. If you're past that thought process, go ahead and get this. Have it on hand. Keep it close by. As your kids are curious about things or wondering, you can look to see, is there any information here about that? Or if you're really amazing, do the activities. I mean, they're, I'm sure, super excellent, because this whole book is excellent. So I highlighted the charts in this video because that's what I'm most excited about. But don't forget, 50% of the book is the activities. So it's an excellent book. I highly recommend it. I hope you enjoyed looking at it, and go get one for yourself.